So the problem with this, when I was running this, is this nut loosened up. And it shouldn't be a big deal, but it ended up being a really big deal. Because when I took this off, loosen this up, and I take this out, the inside of this, as you can see, had sawdust inside of it. And inside of here, there's some gunk. I gotta get a Q-tip in there and clean that out, but there's some gunk. So what happened is, when that loosened up, basically the seal with this filter and the flange of this carburetor allowed sawdust to come in. Now, I did notice prior to, I've run about 4 tanks through this, I noticed that there's a little bit of sawdust right in there, but not much. So I'm thinking this seal right here is not doing its job. It's just a little gasket, and it's not sealing to keep the sawdust out. You almost can see, trying to see, I can see right there, that's sawdust. So what's happening is air is getting sucked in from underneath. So this goes down there like that. Air is getting sucked in underneath, and it's getting in through this, which is a bad thing. What's going to happen is, and this runs really good still, what's going to happen is going to get enough gunk in it that it's going to eventually clog up that carburetor. It's not going to run right, and you're going to probably start messing with these controls here on the side here that control the carburetor adjustment. It's not going to work. Then you're going to end up going to a dealership or small engine repair and pay 75 bucks to fix this when it's actually a $150 saw. So that's going to be an issue there, because it's going to be half the value of this. So what we're going to do, we're going to help this gasket out a little bit, because here's where my thinking is too. When this is on here, you're going to have to rely on this and this to be square onto it, so it's going to mate and make a nice seal. I'm not convinced that everything is square, even when this is tight. That's going to allow air and debris into this. So we're going to take some gasket seal. I'm going to show you what we're going to use here. And what that's going to do is hopefully help that gasket, get this on, here we go, and help this gasket to seal down and make a nice closed, I guess, airproof seal. Also, what we're going to do is help this to basically tighten down and stay down, because coming out of this bolt here, vibration is happening, and that's what's loosening this up. It's a small engine. Vibration has come out somewhere, and I think it's coming out here, vibrating enough to loosen this up. And when this loosens up, it's gonna just allow enough of a, basically enough of a crack to allow the sawdust in. So we're gonna solve that issue. We're gonna solve the issue of that nut loosening up, and we just got a couple products that will, I think, will do the job. So my solution is, I'm going to use the black silicone instant gasket. There's a couple different ones out there. One's high heat, other one's high torque. This is just your black silicone instant gasket. Nothing special, because I don't think you need anything really special. And what we're going to do is we're going to run a bead inside here, then put this rubber gasket in, sandwich that in. Then we're going to put another bead on top of this, and we're hoping that will sandwich in there and it will create a little bit more volume in that gasket. Plus, when it's sitting on here, I don't think this is square. I'm not going to assume it is. So any kind of squareness, that gasket's going to squish down there and create a better seal. And we're also going to put a little bit of a dam around the edge of this outside edge. So when this goes down, it's going to seal this around here, make it a lot harder for air and everything else to get through there. So we're going to have that dam around here. We're going to have a better gasket inside. So that's going to solve the air problem. Now we're going to use this. This is Loctite. You want to make sure it's the blue. The red Loctite is the permanent. The blue is a semi-permanent, and this is for withstands vibration, which that's the problem we have right here is vibration. It's essentially loosening up this nut. It could be just loosening up a little bit, and that may be enough to allow air underneath that. So this is where things got harder than they should have been, as the tube that the sealant goes in busted out, and I had to take a popsicle stick and apply the gasket seal, which wasn't the most ideal, but I will precaution a little bit goes a long way. Around the outside here, and make that just a little bit of a dam. Take this, we're going to do a little squeezing down here. I'm going to pull this off. So I want to look at something. I'm going to put a little bit around here to kind of work as a gasket there to help some of that vibration. There. So now we're going to take a little blue Loctite and just put a little bit there. We don't need a whole lot. Sandwich this in. There. So we're going to let this set. Okay, just got done cutting all that up. We're going to see who that is. Stayed on tight, which is good. So we're going to see, should be able to snap this open. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. So, looks pretty good. Looks like you can see on the back side there, that was catching, so I think it worked. That's just the heat. That looks like, yeah, it doesn't look like anything. So yeah, I think that's worked. So I think that's gonna save us having that carburetor all nasty. You still got to take this off and clean it, and each time I would redo that seal. The seal that I put on top there just did not hold up, as you can see. But yeah, putting that Loctite on there, that worked. And yeah, this thing is still tight on there, so I think it's a win. We'll see in a couple of years, but I think if take that off, clean it each time or a couple times, reseal that, and I think you're going to save your engine, because even what was in there, that looks like more gas than anything. There you go. I hope this helps, and I hope this saw will be good for you for a long time.